Hello students, a warm welcome to all of you. Myself Prashant Shekhar, Mathematics faculty at Akash Plus Byju's. I am hereby presenting you the video solutions of online mock test 2 paper 2 for mathematics section. So first of all we will start with numerical value type questions, and that is the first question of mathematics, that was actually question number 37. This is, if the area of sector of ellipse x square by 16 plus y square by 4 equal to 1 formed by the line 6x square minus 5xy plus y square equal to 0 in the first quadrant is given by 4 tan inverse alpha, then we have to find 25 mod of alpha. This is actually a question from conic sections, and you can observe that this ellipse is there, x square by 16 plus y square by 4. This point will be 4 comma 0, that is a is equal to 4, and for b it is equal to 2. So the lines which are actually involved in this combined equation 6x square minus 5xy plus y square equal to 0, you can see that one of the factors for it will be 3x minus y and another factor will be 2x minus y is equal to 0. So this equation is actually consisting of two different straight lines. One is having its slope as 3 and another is having its slope as 2. So this is the actual sector. Suppose this is y is equal to 3x line and this is y is equal to 2x line. This is the actual sector, that is what you have to calculate. Y is equal to 3x and y is equal to 2x, that in between area, that is what you have to calculate. But in case of ellipse, it is little tougher to actually calculate this area, that sector. But in case of circle, it is quite easy. So we will use circle in order to obtain this result. Which circle we should use? It can be that auxiliary circle for this ellipse. So the auxiliary circle for this ellipse, that is x square plus y square equal to 16, that semicircle I have drawn here, and what I can see, corresponding to this point I can mark a point over here for this circle, and similarly for this point I can correspondingly mark a point on this auxiliary circle. So suppose these points are A and B. So we should not focus on A and B. In place we should focus on these 2 points P and Q, because if we are able to find that sector's area for this circle, then we will be easily able to calculate that area for this ellipse, because the ratio will be B by A. So what will be the slope for these OQ lines and OP lines, because these OQ and OP lines will be different. What will be the slope? Slope of OP will be equal to B by A. This one is A cos theta B sin theta, and this one is A cos theta A sin theta. So the ratio will be A by B into slope of OA in fact, and similarly slope of OQ will be equal to A by B into slope of OB, right. So slope of OA is already known as 3, slope of OB is also known as 2. A by B is what? A by B is 2. So 2 into 3 is 6, and here it is 2 into 2, which is 4. Angle in between these two lines OP and OQ can easily be found out using this tan theta is equal to slope of OP minus slope of OQ divided by 1 plus slope of OP into slope of OQ, right. So this will be equal to 6 minus 4 upon 1 plus 6 into 4, which is 2 by 25. So the angle POQ is tan inverse 2 by 25. So what area we should try to find out? It is actually the area of ellipse in between that POQ portion. So area of sector POQ. This is not a triangle POQ, this is a sector POQ. What will be its value? It will be theta by 360 degree into pi r square, right. Theta by 360 degree into pi r square. So theta by 360 is anyway 2 pi, so theta half r square, that is what formula for sector is. So half, what is r? R is actually 4, so half into 4 square into theta, so this is basically 8 theta. This is your area for POQ, that was the sector on the circle. But here we have to find the sector for ellipse, area of sector AOB which was there on the ellipse. This will be equal to B by A into area of sector POQ. So B by A is 2 by 4 and into we have to multiply this 8 theta, which is equal to 4 theta. That means the answer will be 4 tan inverse 2 by 25. What we have to find out? We have to find out 25 alpha, and that means 25 alpha's value will be equal to 2. So the correct answer for this will be equal to 2. So now we move on to the next question, that is coming from a house of 3-dimensional geometry. Here it is given that ABC are 3 points. From these 3 points, of course, we can draw a triangle as well, that will be 3-dimensional. And here we can see that P is the plane passing through A and B such that it is perpendicular to the plane containing A, B and C. The perpendicular distance of that plane from origin, that is all we have to find out. So if we have to find out the distance from origin, then that means that we have to find out the equation for that plane. So what we can observe here, that this AB distance is actually 2 plus 4 whole square 6 square, 3 minus 3 whole square and 5 plus 1 6 whole square. So this is under root 72, while this distance BC is coming out as minus 4 minus 3, that is 7 square, 3 minus 5, that is 2 square, and minus 1 and minus 2, that means 1 square. So this is your 7 square plus 2 square plus 1 square, which is equal to, of course, root 54, and similarly you can see that CA is also equal to under root 54. That means this triangle is an isosceles triangle. C is here, suppose A is here and B is here. So this is triangle ABC, and in this case these two sides are equal. So if we draw a perpendicular from C, it will be somewhere in the middle of A and B. So what is the midpoint of AB? It is minus 1, and for 3 and 3 it will be 3, and for 5 and minus 1 it will be 2. So this D point will be there, which is actually midpoint of AB. This CD will be perpendicular to the given plane. This CD will be perpendicular to the given plane, as this is isosceles triangle. So for C, what was the point? It was 3, 5 and minus 2. So the normal vector for this plane can be find out as CD vector, which is actually equal to 3 minus 1, which is 4i, 5 minus 3, which is 2j, and minus 2, that means minus 4k cap. So this is your normal vector, for which 4, 2 and minus 4 are direction ratios. Now as it is passing through A and B, whatever point we want, we can put it and find out the equation for the plane. So 4, 2 and minus 4, 4, 2 and minus 4, these are the direction ratios, and as this point A is given as 2, 3, 5, what we can see, the equation of plane will be 4 into x minus 2 plus 2 and into y, here the second point is 3, like y coordinate for A is 3, and minus 4 z minus 5. So I guess, yeah, it is 2, 3, 5. So it is passing through 2, 3 and 5 and having these direction ratios of normal as 4 to minus 4. This equation should be equal to 0. So what is the equation? 4x plus 2y minus 4z, it is minus 8 minus 6, it is minus 14 plus 20, which is equal to 6. So this is the required equation of plane if we want to find the length of perpendicular. So what we will have to do, 0, 0, 0, that is all we have to put in this equation. This will be equal to 6 upon under root 4 square plus 2 square plus 4 square, which is 16 plus 16 plus 4, that means this is equal to 1. So length of perpendicular will be equal to 1, and that goes along with our correct answer, that equal to 1. Next, third question, that is actually question number 39. It is coming from again definite integrals case, but here a lot of definite integrals are actually involved, and we have to focus which part we have to integrate and which part we have to consider as a constant. So here we can see the first part, the last one, actually you can say 0 to 2020 summation over xi dx1. First of all, we have to integrate x1, and all other things like x2, x3 up to x 2020, those will be considered as a constant. So of course we are not able to actually integrate all these terms. We will try to develop a pattern and accordingly will give our solution and answer. So first of all, we will try 0 to 2020. It is x1 plus x2 up to x 2020 dx1. First of all, we have to integrate this term, and you can see it is equal to, first of all, x1 dx1 will be integrated as x1 square by 2. So x1 square by 2, on which I can put these limits, and other terms like x2, x3 and x 2020, these will be considered as a constant. So this expression will be 2020 x2 up to x 2020, right? So what we can see, this is actually equal to 2020 square divided by 2 plus 2020 summation over xi, where I is now varying from 2 to 2020. Fine. So this is the integration for the term which was actually present the most inside of all the brackets. So this is your expression for this much integral term. Now you have to integrate this whole term with limits 0 to 2019 and considering dx2. So what will be the value? Now see, you can also write it down here as well, like 2020 can be written as a common term. Fine. And here you will be getting 2020 by 2 plus summation over xi, 2020 by 2 plus summation over xi, where I is of course varying from 2 to 2020. 2020 in bracket, it is 2020 by 2 plus summation over xi, and from 0 to 2019 I have to integrate it with respect to dx2. So here what we will get, 2020 is of course a constant term that will be outside. 2020 by 2 into, this will be considered as 2019, and plus x2 square by 2, which is 2019 square by 2, and plus summation over xi, where I is actually now varying from 3 to 2020. Fine. So this is the expression. Now what we are getting here also, after integration, these all terms are actually constant. So in place of, after integrating this, we can also put it as 2019 summation over xi, where I is actually varying from 3 to 2020. Here we can get this 2019 as a constant, and I am getting here 2020 into 2019 divided by, here it will be equal to 2020 by 2 plus 2019 by 2, and summation over xi will be there. Now this I is varying from 3 to 2020. So you can see what happens. First we tried to integrate the last term which was actually present the most inside of all the brackets with respect to x1. We got 2020, and here 2020 by 2 and plus summation xi was there, which was actually varying from 2 to 2020. Now when we integrated it one more time, what we were able to get actually 2020 into 2019, and here that 2020 by 2 is present, 2019 by 2 is present, and now this I is equal to 3 to 2020. So what will be the value if we keep on doing this for x 2020? So what will be the value? This 2020, then 2019, then the next term will be 2018 and so on. So this quantity will be 2020 factorial, which will be waiting outside the bracket, and in bracket it will be 2020 by 2 plus 2019 by 2, and at last it will be equal to 1 by 2. The same pattern will follow on. So what will be the answer? This will be 2020 factorial, and here it is 2020 into 2021 by 2. 1 plus 2 plus up to 2020, the sum is this much, and 1 by 2 is also there, so we will put another 1 by 2. So this 2020 factorial into 2021, that will give you 2021 factorial, and what else is there? It is 2020 by 4, so it will be equal to 505. So the value of n in this case is equal to 505. What are the prime factors which are involved in this case? That are 5 into 101. So these two are the prime factors which are involved. So answer for this will be equal to 2. question number 40, that is f is actually R to R defined and a differentiable function such that fx is equal to 0 to x mod of t minus ft dt for all x belongs to R. Then find out the value of f3 minus f of minus 3, its integral part, which is what we have to find. So first of all, just when we see like 0 to x, first of all what kind of approach we should follow? We are actually excited to use that Newton-Leibniz rule for differentiation, and we can see here if you try to use that formula, it will be converted into f dash x is equal to mod of x minus fx dx. So this way you can also observe that f dash x is always going to be a positive quantity because mod value will never be negative. So f dash x is actually greater than or equal to 0. So we can say that it is always going to be fx is a increasing function. Similarly, what we can observe that f0 is obviously equal to 0 because that limits will be 0 to 0. So f0 will be equal to 0. So first of all we have to try and define this properly. What is the situation? F dash x will be equal to mod of x minus fx first of all. So it will be two cases, x minus fx and fx minus x. X is greater than or equal to fx, and in this case fx is actually greater than x. But as we know that fx is an increasing function, so as we go on the right side of x equal to 0, the fx will increase and x is not increasing that much. So fx is greater than x, that is correct for x greater than 0, and here fx is equal to x at x equal to 0. So this portion will be defined for x less than 0. So f dash x is equal to x minus fx. I can say that this is for x less than 0 and this one is for x greater than 0 when fx minus x will be there. So first of all we have to try and find out the exact function. So f dash x is equal to, what was the function? X minus fx. X minus fx. So we have to try actually f dash x plus fx equal to x, and now it is a simple differential equation, dy by dx plus y is equal to x. You can also see that this is actually, if we try to multiply it, ex f dash x plus fx is equal to x into e raised to power x. This is, if we integrate both sides, this is your ex into fx, and on right side you will get integration of x e raised to power x, which is equal to x e raised to power x minus e raised to power x plus c. This will be your e raised to power x into fx. But as f0 was equal to 0, so you can see that in this case c will be equal to this, for which I can write it down as f of x is equal to x minus 1 plus c into e raised to power minus x. As f0 is equal to 0, as f0 was equal to 0, we can see that c is equal to 1. So the function fx will be equal to x minus 1 plus e raised to power minus x. This was the function for x greater than or equal to 0. Now the next section, f dash x was fx minus x for x less than 0. So f dash x is equal to fx minus x. So it was fx minus x for x less than 0. In this case, if you try to solve, dy by dx minus y is coming out as minus x, and if you try to solve it by using linear differential equation, the function for same will be equal to x plus 1 minus e raised to power x. So what you will get as f of minus 3, it will be equal to minus 2 minus e raised to power minus 3, and for f3 you can get from here, this f3 will be equal to 3 minus 1 2 plus e raised to power minus 3. So 2 plus e raised to power minus 3 is there, here it is minus 2 minus e raised to power minus 3. So what will be the expression? The f3 minus f of minus 3, this is equal to f of 3 minus f of minus 3, this is equal to 4 plus 2 by e cube. So obviously this quantity is something in between 4 to 5, and that is why the answer for integral part will be equal to 4. So the right choice for integral part of this whole expression will be equal to 4. So that is for question number 40. Now we will move on to question number 41. That is again 4 points are given: 7, 5, alpha 2, alpha 0 and 2, 3. The minimum length of the path ABCD is k, then integer part of k, that is what we have to find out. So here we can observe that these ABCD points, if it locate it, what is the situation? 7 comma 5 will be somewhere here, 7 comma 5, alpha comma 2, suppose here a point is there, alpha comma 0 is a point over here, and 2 comma 3 you can say over here, because it is above y equal to x line. So this is your point A, this is your point B, this is your point C, and this is your point D. What you have to minimize, it is this path ABCD. That means you have to minimize this A, B, C, and then we are going to D, this path. So first of all, these 4 points are involved. Sometimes you have solved these questions like you have to actually minimize AB plus AC, that path you have to minimize, in which case actually used image of this point D in the line with respect to which we are actually solving the question. But in this case there are 4 points involved. So what we can see, if we try to consider a point A dash, and with the help of A dash we are trying to actually complete this parallelogram, then this point will be 7 comma 3, obviously, because it is 2 units, that's why we are going 2 units downward. So A dash is 7 comma 3, and here C is alpha comma 0. So as you can see, this AB plus BC, that BC path is always going to be constant, that is equal to 2 units, but A dash path is actually representing that 2 units same, and moreover AB is here, that is same as A dash C. So these two sides AB and A dash C are actually equal. So while we were actually trying to reduce this AB plus BC plus CD, now we are trying to reduce this A dash C plus BC is anyway constant, that is 2, that cannot be minimized or maximized. So A dash C plus CD, that is what we are trying to minimize. Now that is an easier one, because for solving these type of questions what we should do? We should just take mirror image of D in this line, that is x axis. So 2 comma 3 is mirror image, that is D dash. D dash will be equal to 2 comma minus 3, and this alpha comma 0 will be in such a way that this D dash, C and A dash, these are collinear. So what is the distance? So it will be A dash C, that is actually AB, plus BC, that is 2, and CD dash, that is the actual minimum distance that is possible. So for minimizing this path ABCD, we are actually minimizing A dash C plus CD dash, and plus that BC unit is actually 2. So this is A dash D dash plus 2, that will be the minimum possible distance. A dash D dash is what? 5 square plus 6 square. So C A dash D dash distance is 7, 3, and 2 comma minus 3 is distance. So it is 7 minus 2, 5 square, and here it is 6 square. So this is under root 61, and plus 2 is always present there. So this is in between 7 to 8, and this is 2. So the whole quantity is in between 9 to 10. So we have to find an integer part of k, and k was actually lying in between 9 to 10. In fact not equal to, it was in between 9 to 10. So the correct answer for integer part of k will be equal to 9. The next question is the last question of numerical section, that is, let P and Q respectively be the length of sides of a regular n-sided polygon n greater than or equal to 3 inscribed in and circumscribed about a unit circle. First of all, we have to try and find out the sides of a polygon which can be inscribed in a unit circle or which can be circumscribed about a unit circle. So what we can observe, suppose this is a circle and we are actually trying an incircle of the polygon. So what will happen, this is R for the circle, and 2 pi by n will be the angle which will be subtended over this point center. This will be your pi by n. In that case, if this is R, this is angle pi by n, that means this side AB, in this case this side AB will be equal to 2R tan pi by n. In this case, what we are doing? We are actually inscribing a circle for a regular polygon. In case of, suppose we are trying a circle outside like this, fine. So what will be the situation? Here again the angle subtended over here is pi by n anyway, and this is now your r. If this is r, this side will be what? This will be your r sine pi by n. That means this whole length will be 2r sine pi by n. This is theta, which is pi by n. That means this half portion will be r sine pi by n, and in this case, suppose this is length CD, and this CD will be equal to 2r sine pi by n. So now what we have to do? We have to try and find out minimum possible value of p by q. So what will be the possible value? P by q will be equal to 2r, this is your p, right, and this is your q as mentioned over here. So 2r sine pi by n divided by 2r tan pi by n, which is 2r tan pi by n, so which is equal to cos pi by n. So p by q is cos pi by n. Now you have to try and minimize this cos pi by n's value. When it will be minimized? As we keep on increasing the value of n, that is greater than or equal to 3, this cos theta will keep on increasing. So in order to minimize it, we should put n equal to 3, because as theta tends towards 0, the cos theta will tend towards 1. So that is why for minimizing it, our n must be equal to 3. So as n is equal to 3 in this case, that minimum possible value, in fact a is 1 by 2, and now we have to focus on radii of smallest and largest circle which passes through 1 by 2 comma 2. This is a comma 1 by a, which is 1 by 2 comma 2, and it touches this given circle x square plus y square plus 2x minus 4y minus 11. So for x square plus 2x, what you can see, the center for given circle is minus 1 comma 2, minus 1 comma 2, and radius for this is 4. So minus 1 2, radius is 4, so this point is 3 comma 2, and this point is minus 5 comma minus 2. So now what is your point? A comma 1 by a, that is 1 by 2 comma 2. 1 by 2 comma 2 is a point which will lie inside this circle. So what we have to try? Suppose this is your point A. You have to try and draw a circle which will have minimum radius and touching this given circle. So minimum radius will be possible for this, and the maximum radius will be possible for this circle. In this case, we can observe that anyway this R1 and this R2, R1 and R2, anyway this is 2R1 and this is 2R2. So this 2R1 plus 2R2 will be actually equal to diameter of the given circle, which was actually 8, because radius is 4, so diameter will be 8. So 2R1 plus 2R2 is equal to 8. That means our R1 plus R2's value will be equal to 4. So the correct answer for this question will be equal to 4. Next is more than one correct type questions. So in this case, first is from complex numbers, which is a, b, c are 3 real numbers such that a square plus b square plus c square is equal to c, and z is given to be a plus iota b upon 1 minus c. So what will be the value of z bar? As we can see that all these options involve z and z bar and as well as mod z square. So z bar will be equal to a minus iota b upon 1 minus c. So z into z bar, that is equal to mod z square, will be equal to a square plus b square divided by 1 minus c whole square, right? Because z bar is a minus iota b divided by 1 minus c. So what is a square plus b square? It is c minus c square, which is c into 1 minus c, and in denominator 1 minus c whole square is present, which is equal to c upon 1 minus c. This is your mod z square. If you try to find out z plus z bar, what will be the value? It will be 2a upon 1 minus c, simply because iota b and minus iota b will get cancelled, and anyway real part is 2a upon 1 minus c. So now we have to try and find out a in terms of z and z bar, as options a and b suggest. So a is equal to z plus z bar into 1 minus c divided by 2. So what we can put in place of 1 minus c? as we can see that mod z square plus 1 is equal to 1 upon 1 minus c. 1 minus c can be replaced by 1 upon 1 plus mod z square. So this is z plus z bar by 2, and in place of 1 minus c I am putting here 1 upon 1 plus mod z square. So the correct answer for this will be option A. Now B, what about B? This is again to be obtained from z bar minus z or z minus z bar. So if we take difference of these two things, z minus z bar, that will be equal to, as z is a plus iota b, z bar is a minus iota b, then this will be equal to 2 iota b divided by 1 minus c. So now b will be equal to z minus z bar by 2, iota b is equal to, in fact, z minus z bar by 2 into 1 minus c. So again, what was the expression for 1 minus c? 1 minus c was in fact 1 upon 1 plus mod z square. So this is z minus z bar divided by 2 1 plus mod z square, 1 upon 1 plus mod z square. Now this is your iota b. So in order to get b, you have to just multiply it by minus iota. So b will be equal to, you can say here, z bar minus z into iota divided by 2 into 1 plus mod z square. So correct options for these questions will be A and option D, which are the correct ones. Now question number 14, which is again a given pyramid PABCD whose base ABCD is a right angle trapezoid such that angle A is 90 degree and AB is parallel to CD. PD is perpendicular to the plane ABCD. Now the lengths are given and you have to try and find out the diameter of the sphere circumscribing this tetrahedron PBCD. Suppose D is your origin. If D is your origin, what will be the coordinates for A? Suppose this ABCD is actually a plane in XZ. So what will be the coordinates for it? For AD length is 1, so this will be k cap, right? For B, it is again AB is 1, so this will be I plus k. This is I cap plus k cap. CD is actually in length 2, so this is 2I cap. These are the points ABCD. And what about PD? PD is given to be 2 and PD is moreover perpendicular to this plane. So PD, that will be perpendicular, and that is why this P coordinate will be equal to 2j cap. So this will be your tetrahedron. This will be your tetrahedron PABCD. So what we have to find out? We have to find out the diameter of the sphere circumscribing this tetrahedron PBCD, right? PBCD. Suppose that, and what are the other options? Area of face PBC is circumradius of triangle PDB, right? So first of all, we try to find out that A option. Suppose circumsphere's center is ABC, that is AI plus BJ plus CK cap. So if that is ABC, that is AI plus BJ plus CK cap, this is your circumcenter, you can say, and from there all those vertices P, B, C and D, all these should be equidistant. So you can see AI plus BJ plus CK caps distance from origin should be equal to under root A square plus B square plus C square, right? And this should be again equal to its distance from point P, which is A square. Now I am removing actually this under root part. Under root is anyway not required because we have to square it and then you have to solve it. So A square plus B square plus C square equal to this A square plus B minus 2 whole square plus C square. So this is distance of ABC from point D and this is distance of ABC from point P. Now still 2 points are remaining, that C point and B point. So this ABC's distance from this point C will be equal to A minus 2 whole square plus B square plus C square, and similarly its distance from point B will be equal to A minus 1 whole square plus B square plus C minus 1 whole square. So all these four should be equal, because if this is circumcenter, it should be equidistant from all these vertices. So from two equations, what we can observe, a square and c square are simply getting cancelled, and b square equal to b minus 2 whole square, that means b must be equal to 1. Similarly, from first and third equation, what we can observe, b square and c square are getting cancelled, and a square equal to a minus 2 whole square, that means a is again equal to 1. Now what is the situation for c? It is getting cancelled somewhere? No. So for a equal to 1, you can see, and b equal to 1, the first term is actually 2 plus c square, which must be equal to the last term, which is equal to 0 square plus 1 square and plus c minus 1 whole square. So here again 2c minus 1, 2c minus 1 is coming out as minus 1, that means c must be equal to 0. So c is equal to 0. So that circumcenter is in fact I plus j. So circumcenter is I plus j, and that means its diameter, actually it has been asked in option A. So the radius for this is actually I plus j's distance from this origin, because this is one of the vertex. So radius is equal to distance of origin from this ABC, which was actually 1 0 1. So radius for that circumsphere is root 2, and that is why the diameter option given as 2 root 2 is absolutely correct. Next is of course the option B is obviously incorrect then, and in option C it has been given that area of face PBC you have to find out. So area of PBC is nothing but area of that triangle. So what is the area of that triangle? You can easily obtain, this will be PB cross CB's mod. So PB is 2j and this is I plus k. So the area for this can be considered as half IJK. This will be PBC, what we are trying to find out, right? This is area of face PBC. So this is 1 minus 2 0, I plus k minus 2j. So this is 1 minus 2 1, I plus k minus 2j, and similarly PC, this will be equal to 2i minus 2j. So 2i minus 2j is in fact 2i minus 2j is here. So here we can again find out that area half into this, and the magnitude of this quantity will give you the correct answer for area. So it is equal to I jk 1 minus 2 1 and 1 minus 1 0. So the area can be calculated as I into minus 2 into 0, and this is plus 1 minus j, so 1 into 0 minus 1, and plus k, that is minus 1 and plus 2, minus 1 and plus 2. So this is I minus j plus k, its magnitude is obviously equal to root 3. So this option is also correct. Circumradius of triangle PDB you have to find out. So circumradius of triangle PDB, again it can be again find out using again this PD and B. These should be equidistant from some particular point, and PDB, what you can observe, that this side is actually 2, PDB is again a triangle, so circumradius should not be an issue, because we already know about capital R's formula, so ABC upon 4 delta. So if you try to find out this circumradius, you can easily go for this R is equal to ABC upon 4 delta thing. For PDB triangle, the sides are, PB is root 2, this DB is actually root 6, and this PD is actually 2. So these all three sides are known. Now you can use R is equal to ABC upon 4 delta in order to find out the correct circumradius. The next question is, from 9 men and 1 woman sitting around a circular table, 2 men are selected at random, then find the probability that they are not consecutive. So if they are sitting around a circle, if you have to select only 2 persons, 2 men from those, then the total cases for them will be 9C2. How many of them will be favorable? Now you can see as one woman is situated in this circular table, she is already, suppose we actually arrange her seat first of all for the woman, and then we have to place those 9 men. So now it will work as a linear permutation because one of the person is already set. So everything else will be considered as a linear permutation. So 9 men and 1 woman, how many ways will be there so that those are consecutive? In fact, here it is asked that they should not be consecutive, but we are trying to focus on the cases when they are consecutive. So in how many ways those 2 men can be consecutive? Like M1 and M2 are selected, M2 and M3 are selected, M3 and M4 are selected. Similarly, at last M8 and M9 are selected. So you can say that out of 9C2, those 8 cases will be there in which the persons will be consecutive, the selected persons will be consecutive. So out of these 9C2 minus 8, which is equal to 36 minus 8 divided by 36, and we will be there with the correct option 7 by 9. This was very simple question. If you consider this one woman thing, as she is already present over the table, that means the question has converted into the case of linear permutation. So the probability for this question will come out as 7 by 9. So our option D will be simply the right choice. Now moving on to the question number 46, it is 1 plus x square raised to power 50 is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus a100x raised to power 100. It is not only binomial but it is a multinomial theorem's case. Then which of the following are correct? You have to arrange this 30, a30 is equal to 21, a29, and all these relations you have to try and prove whatever are correct. So first of all, what we can observe, 1 plus x square raised to power 50 is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2x square up to a100 x raised to power 100. This should be all the terms. Now, so this is 1 minus x raised to power 50, and here it will be 1 plus x square raised to power 50, and this will be 1 minus x raised to power 50 into this thing can be written as summation over ar x raised to power r, where r is varying from 1 to 100. In fact, r is varying from 0 to 100. So the left hand side, this gets converted into 1 minus x cube raised to power 50, and in right hand side we have 1 minus x raised to power 50 summation over ar x raised to power r. Again r is varying from 0 to 100. So what you can say first of all about option B. Option B is 50C0 A7, 50C1 A6. These terms can be clubbed as 50CR, you can say A7 minus R, right? 50CR A7 minus R into minus 1 raised to power R, where R is actually varying from 0 and it is going up to 7. Fine. So when these terms can be actually clubbed, in this case we can see 1 minus x raised to power 50, that is giving us a chance of representing minus 1 raised to power r 50CR. The coefficient of this term, the expansion will have this term minus 1 raised to power r 50CR, and if we are multiplying it by a7 minus r, how will it be created? If we are trying to find out that coefficient of x raised to power 7, because if you are able to see this, comparing those coefficients of x raised to power 7, coefficient of x raised to power 7, anyway here there will be no coefficient for x raised to power 7, because this will have x cubed term, x raised to power 6, and then x raised to power 9, and so on. All those powers will be multiple of 3, and it will be having minimum as 0 and maximum as 150, but all those powers will be multiple of 3. This term will not have anything as coefficient of x raised to power 7. So coefficient of x raised to power 7 in left hand side is obviously going to be 0. In right hand side, what will happen? This will create a case like minus 1 raised to power r 50CR. Suppose we are getting here 50C2 minus 1 raised to power 2 as x square's coefficient. Then from this side we have to try and find out coefficient of x raised to power 5, so that the multiplication is of x raised to power 7. So here what we have to find out, whatever is not available over here, suppose like here actually I got 50 CR, that is coefficient of x raised to power r. So from here we have to target the coefficient of x raised to power 7 minus r in order to get that x raised to power 7 term. So from here what we will get, for if x raised to power 7 minus r is there, obviously this r will be also replaced as 7 minus r. So this is 7 minus r. So 0 will be equal to minus 1 raised to power r 50 CR A7 minus r's summation, because there will be multiple terms, r is varying from 1 to 7. Like if here we are getting 50 C6 minus 1 raised to power 6, from here we should try to find out x raised to power 1's coefficient in order to get x raised to power 7. So anyway left hand side is having no x raised to power 7 term, that is why coefficient is equal to 0, and in right hand side it is always going to be 50 CR into A7 minus r into minus 1 raised to power r, as this minus was also present. So option B which was there is obviously correct one. For the next options what we can think of, that 1 plus x square raised to power 50, this expression is given as a naught plus a1x a2x square up to a100 x raised to power 100. That can be summed up as summation over ar x raised to power r, and r was actually varying from 0 to 100. Now if we try to differentiate it, why we are trying to differentiate, first of all we have to think of this, because here we can see that in this question all the options, that is 30A20, 21A29, some coefficient is present. Obviously we are not going to multiply it because we are not aware about the actual values of these coefficients, but these relations can be developed. That was actually when we will differentiate, that power will come into its multiplication. So what we can use, 1 plus x square raised to power 50 is equal to ar x raised to power r summation r equal to 0 to 100. If we differentiate both sides, what we will get, 50 into 1 plus x square raised to power 49 into 1 plus 2x. This will be differentiation of left hand side, and for right hand side it will be equal to ar r into x raised to power r minus 1, this summation, and now r will vary from 1 because a naught will be anyway differentiated and it will get to 0, and everything else it will start from a1. So r equal to 1 and last term will be r equal to 100, r equal to 100, a 100 will be there in last term, and here we will get 100 x raised to power 99 as its last term. So now what we can see, if we compare coefficient of x raised to power k from both the sides, what we will get, here 50 is there, 1 is there, and in order to get x raised to power k from left hand side, we have to find coefficient of x raised to power k from this 1 plus x square raised to power 49. So what will be the expression? It will be 51 plus x square raised to power 50 into 1 plus 2x is equal to, here we will get 1 plus x square into this summation thing. If we now try to compare the coefficient of x raised to power k from both sides, what we will get, 50 into 1, 50 into this one will be there, so 50, and if x raised to power k is to be obtained, this 50 into 1 will be multiplied by the coefficient of x raised to power k present in 1 plus x square raised to power 50. So this will be 50 into ak, and next term 50 into this 2x will be 100x, and if we have to find x raised to power k, that means this bracket should give us x raised to power k minus 1. So x raised to power k minus 1's coefficient is obviously a k minus 1. So the expression will be 100 50 into 2x, that is giving us 100. 1x is already present, from where we have to obtain x raised to power k minus 1. So this is a k minus 1. This is equal to 1 plus x square, and here we are getting summation over ar into r x r minus 1. From this side what we will obtain, k plus 1, a k plus 1 will be present. Here it is x, so from this term I have to obtain x raised to power k minus 1. For that we have to put k then this will be x raised to power k minus 1, and this is again ak. So k ak plus, it is x square, so it will be here, from here it should be x raised to power k minus 2. So in order to get that x raised to power k minus 2, you have to actually focus on r is equal to k minus 1, which is k minus 1 a k minus 1. Now this is your acquired term. Now you can actually club these terms. 50 ak plus 100 ak minus 1 is equal to k plus 1 ak plus 1 plus k ak plus k minus 1 into ak minus 1. Now this term 50 minus k into ak can be clubbed. This 100 ak minus 1 and this is k minus 1. So this is 101 minus k ak minus 1 is equal to k plus 1 into ak plus 1. Now what you have to do? Now you have to simply put all these expressions. 50 minus k ak plus 101 minus k, 101 minus k a k minus 1 is equal to k plus 1 into a k plus 1, k plus 1 into a k plus 1. So if you are putting here x is equal to 30 or x is equal to like 41 is also there, 39 is also there. So suppose k is equal to 30 is put here, 50 minus 30 is actually 20, a 30 will be there. Here it will be 101 minus, so this will be 71 a 29 and is equal to k plus 1 a k plus 1. So here we will get k plus 1 as 31 a 31. In option A it is actually 30 a 30, so you have to try and find out k is equal to 29. In case of k equal to 29, it will be 30 a 30 in right hand side, and here it will be 72 a 28 and plus here it will be 50 minus 29, so it is 21 a 29. So option A is also correct from this expression. Similarly, now you have to try and find out the other expressions like 41 a 41. What you have to do? You have to simply put k is equal to 40 in order to obtain option C, and for option D you have to simply put, this is actually 2a 20 is greater than 3a 19 and 8a 18. So what you can do? You can simply put for a 20 you can put a is equal to 19. If you put a is equal to 19, what you will get? You will get 31 a 19 plus 82 a 18 is equal to, here it will be 20 a 20. So from here you can see that a 20 is basically equal to 31 by 20 a 19 plus 82 by 20 a 18. This is your expression, which is obviously greater than the given 3 by 2, because 31 by 20 is greater than 3 by 2, and similarly 82 by 20 is also greater than 4. So this way option D can also be proved. So A, B, C, D, all 4 options are correct in this case. Next question is a very good question in which one of the options are actually something that you will get to know about that concept. Consider 3 points A, B, C, then which of the following are correct? First point is, if point P lies on this line y equal to x plus 5 and PA plus PB is least, then find the coordinates of P. In this case A, B, C are given 4 0 minus 4 0 and 0 2. 4 0 is there, minus 4 0 is there, and 0 comma 2 is there. These are your A, B and C. These 3 points are given. Next, P lies on line y is equal to x plus 5. So y is equal to x plus 5, that is somewhere here, and now you have to actually minimize this PA plus PB distance. So what you have to do, all these points A and B are lying on the same side. That is why again in y equal to x plus 5 you have to find out the image of any one of these points, minus 4 comma 0 or 4 comma 0, whatever you are comfortable with. So suppose we are trying to find out the mirror image of 4 comma 0 in y is equal to x plus 5. What will be the situation? suppose 4 comma 0's mirror image in this is, we are considering suppose that foot of perpendicular as alpha comma alpha plus 5. So this should be having its slope as minus 1, because y is equal to x plus 5 has its slope as 1. So this line will have its slope as minus 1. So alpha plus 5 upon alpha minus 4 will be equal to minus 1. So alpha plus 5 is equal to minus alpha plus 4. Alpha is equal to minus half. So the foot of perpendicular will be minus 1 by 2 comma 9 by 2. 4 comma 0 is 1 point and its mirror image is something for which this point foot of perpendicular will be the midpoint. So 4 comma 0, suppose that point is p comma q, and 4 0 and pq's midpoint is minus 1 by 2 comma 9 by 2. What will be the value of p? It will be minus 5, and here q will be equal to 9. So pq is actually minus 5 comma 9. So minus 5 comma 9 is the mirror image of a. If we join this a dash, suppose this is a dash, and if we join this a dash by minus 4 comma 0, we will get the required point. And minus 5 comma 9 is when joined to minus 4 comma 0. This will give you an equation. Y minus 0 is equal to 0 minus 9 is minus 9, and here it is minus 9 upon plus 1, x plus 4. So the equation is y plus 9x is equal to minus 36, and the other equation is y is equal to x plus 5. Y is equal to x plus 5. If you solve these two, you will get this p point's coordinate, because this is point required point P, which is actually point of intersection of this y equal to x plus 5 line with this image of A, suppose that is A dash, and point B. So this A dash B and this line y equal to x plus 5's point of intersection will give you the correct point of coordinates for P, which is equal to minus 41 by 10 and 9 by 10. So option A is obviously correct. Now for option D, it is also simple. PA minus PB's maximum value will be equal to distance AB, and that is obviously equal to 8. So this option is incorrect. So A is correct and D is incorrect option. Now the most interesting part of this question, that is actually B part and C part. First of all, B part, most of you will know that PA square plus PB square plus PC square for any triangle. For this triangle ABC, any point P lying inside the triangle, if PA square plus PB square plus PC square is minimum, this P point is always going to be its centroid. So PA square plus PB square plus PC square, in order to be minimized, this P point must be its centroid. So in this case, it can easily be obtained. P point will be centroid, so it is 0 and 2 by 3. So now you can easily find out PA square plus PB square plus PC square, and this will be the least value. This is going to be your centroid. But in option C, this is actually Fermat's points question, in which PA plus PB plus PC, that is what we have to actually minimize. So how this can be done? First of all, there is a condition in this, that if any angle of this triangle, like angle A, angle B or angle C, if any angle of this triangle is greater than or equal to 2 pi by 3, if any angle is greater than or equal to angle 2 pi by 3, then the vertex where this obtuse angle 2 pi by 3 or more is subtended, that is the required point for P. In this case, you can see angle C for this case is actually greater than 2 pi by 3. So if angle C is greater than 2 pi by 3, how can you obtain that? With the help of slopes. With help of slopes, you can see that slope of BC is in fact 2 upon 4, which is 1 by 2, and slope of CA is in fact 2 upon minus 4, so it is minus 1 by 2. So the angle here in between these two, that is m1 minus m2 upon 1 plus m1 m2, that is actually greater than, that internal angle C is greater than 2 pi by 3. So as internal angle C is greater than 2 pi by 3, in this case the point which will be minimizing PA plus PB plus PC will be the vertex itself. So as angle C, we have one internal angle that is greater than 2 pi by 3, so that is why our correct point P should be equal to vertex C itself, where the maximum angle 2 pi by 3 or more is subtended. If in case this angle C was not greater than 2 pi by 3, then what will be the point? Then it is little complicated one, as what we have to do, suppose this is your triangle, you have to form equilateral triangle on the opposite sides of each one, like ABC. You have to form an equilateral triangle, this one equilateral triangle, this, like A, suppose this is P, this PA, PC and AC should be equal. Similarly here QA, QB and AB should be equal, and similarly here RB, RC and BC should be equal. Now if we join these two things, this vertex to the opposite one and this vertex to the opposite one, similarly this also, these are concurrent lines, these are going to be concurrent lines, and in that case this point will be your correct answer for required P. So that will be a typical process, but here what is used, that as angle C is greater than or equal to 2 pi by 3, so that vertex will be our correct answer. So that vertex C is the correct choice for point P. So point P is itself in fact 0 comma 2, now you can use it as P, and now PC is obviously 0, PA plus PB, now you can obtain and find out this PA plus PB as minimum. The least value of PA plus PB plus PC is possible in this case when P is vertex C itself, because angle C was greater than or equal to 2 pi by 3. Next question, this comes from differentiability. Integer part of x by a, integer part of 1 by x for all x belonging to R plus a is a positive constant, and which of the following are correct? Fx is discontinuous at different cases of a is given. So first of all what we can see, that suppose we have to solve this for option A. What is there? This will be equal to fx is equal to integer part of 2x into integer part of 1 by x. So what are the points where we should be cautious about the points of discontinuity or non-differentiability? You can say that it should be x equal to half, similarly here x equal to 1. So anyway we have to focus on x positive only, so 0 we should not consider. So x less than half, first of all what will be the function? This 2x will vary from 0 to 1, so this integer part will be equal to 0, and here you will be getting some integer value. So fx will be equal to 0 for this 0 to half portion. Similarly if you go for x equal to half, what will be the value? This will be 1 and this will be 2, so the answer will be 2. For x greater than 1 by 2, greater than 1 by 2 and less than 1, what will be the situation? For 2x it will be from 1 to 2, so 2x integer part is 1, and 1 by x it will also vary in between 1 to 2, so the integer part will be again 1, so the correct answer will be 1 for this interval. Similarly for x equal to 1, what will be the situation? It will be 2, and moving onwards, as x is greater than 1, you can see that 1 by x have some value which is less than 1, so 1 by x's integer part will be equal to 0. So this part is again equal to 0. So 0 to 1 to 0, what it suggests, that it is discontinuous at multiple points like x equal to half and x equal to 1. So these 2 points are actually where fx is discontinuous. So option A is obviously going to be correct. Next, 3 points at x equal to 1 by 3, and similarly we have to check for x equal to 1 by 4. In same manner we can proceed, like fx will be equal to integer part of 3x into integer part of 1 by x. Now what are the points where we should be cautious? 1 by 3 is a point, 1 by 2 is also a point, 2 by 3 is a point, 1 is a point. So here we can see that in between 0 to 1 by 3, what will be the situation? 0 to 1 by 3, this 3x's integer part will be 0. So this will be equal to 0. But when x is equal to 1 by 3, what will be the situation? Here it will be 3, here it will be 1. So it will be 3. For x lying in between 1 by 3 and half, what is the situation? 3x is in fact in between 1 and 3 by 2, so its integer part is 1. And if we consider 1 by x will lie in between 2 and 3, so its integer part is 2. So here again 1 by 3 to 1 by 2, we are getting 2 as your answer. Now for x equal to 1 by 2, in fact for x equal to 1 by 2, what will be the solution? This will be 2 and this will be 1. So this is equal to 2. And when x is varying from 1 by 2 to 2 by 3, what is the situation? Then for 3x it will be in between 3 by 2 to 2, so the integer part is 1, and 1 by x is in fact in between 3 by 2 to 2, whose integer part is again 1. So this will be equal to 1. Now for x equal to 2 by 3, again what will be the value? For x equal to 2 by 3, this part will be equal to 2 and this part will be equal to 1. So at x equal to 2 by 3, again the value is 2. So how many points are there? Like you can see, at x equal to 1 by 3 it is discontinuous, at x equal to 1 by 2 it is discontinuous, at x equal to 2 by 3 it is again discontinuous, and at x equal to 1 it is of course going to be discontinuous, because after x equal to 1 it will be equal to 0. So 4 points are there where this is discontinuous. So these two options are absolutely correct, and similarly we will go for a is equal to 1 by 4, where we will go for integer part of 4x into integer part of 1 by x. So integer part of 4x into integer part of 1 by x. In this case also you can see that this will be discontinuous at x is equal to 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 3 by 4, 1, and 1 by 3 will be also there. So all these 5 points will be there where this fx is going to be discontinuous. So A, C, D, all these points are correct. So the next section, that is again a numerical type, but this time answers will be within 2 decimal places. So the first question from this section, that is question number 49, that is we have to find out x, y, which are natural numbers, those number of different ordered pairs we have to find, and this should satisfy 1 upon x plus 1 upon y is equal to 1 upon 20, 21. So what is the situation? If we take LCM, it will be x plus y upon xy, this is equal to 1 upon 20, 21. So the equation will be xy minus 20, 21 x minus 20, 21 y is equal to 0. So this is x into y minus 20, 21. Now in order to get this 2021 as common, you have to add this term, that is actually 2021 square is added to the left hand side. So right hand side will be 2021's square. So the factors are x minus 2021 and the other factor is y minus 2021, and it is equal to 2021's square, which is anyway, if we try to factorize 43 square into 47 whole square, both are prime numbers, so it cannot be further simplified, it cannot be further factorized. So what are the possible values? So for x minus 2021 into y minus 2021, the possibilities are number of possible factors in which 43 square into 47 square can be written. So number of ways to represent this term in multiplication of two terms in this way, 43 square into 47 square, in how many ways it can be written in fact as a product of two numbers. So this is all what we are asked. So the total number of factors will be in this case equal to 9, as we know that this is a prime number, whole square is there, prime number, whole square is there. So number of factors will be 2 plus 1 into 2 plus 1. So number of factors will be equal to 2 plus 1 into 2 plus 1. So total 9 factors are there. That means x and y can have different 9 ordered pairs. So the correct answer for this will be equal to 9. Now question number 50. This is again a question from area under curve, and if we try to first simplify it, what is it? 2 mod y plus 1 is less than or equal to 2 upon 2 raised to power mod x, you can say that it is 2 raised to power 1 minus mod of x. So mod of y is less than or equal to 2 1 minus x minus 1 divided by 2. So mod of y is less than or equal to 2 raised to power minus x minus half. This is the curve, and mod x was there, so we are putting here mod x as well. So if we try to find out this curve y less than or equal to 2 raised to power minus x minus half, then we can see that as mod y and mod x are used, this graph will be symmetrically placed in second, third, fourth quadrant, then the whole graph will be completed. So if we try to draw y equal to 2 raised to power minus x minus half, what will be the graph? 2 raised to power minus x at 0 will be equal to 1. So this is point 0 comma half, which will lie on 2 raised to power minus x minus half, and 2 raised to power minus x will be like this, and when it will be equal to 0, so 2 raised to power minus x should be equal to 1 by 2 at that point. So minus x is equal to minus 1, that means x equal to 1. So this point is 1 comma 0. You can see where this 2 raised to power minus x minus half is actually intersecting x axis. That means the y coordinate 2 raised to power minus x minus half should be equal to 0. So that is at x equal to 1. The same graph will be covered over here in this quadrant and in this quadrant. So this is what we have to find out as its area. This whole shaded portion is what is required. So how to integrate it? We will try to find out the area bounded within the first quadrant, and then we will multiply it by 4 in order to find the whole shaded portion. So the correct answer for this can be written as 4 times 0 to 1. X is actually varying from 0 to 1, and this is curve y is equal to 2 raised to power minus x minus half. This is 2 raised to power minus x minus half dx, right? So y is equal to 2 raised to power minus x minus half. This was the curve, and it is being integrated from x belongs to 0 to 1. So what we are getting as answer, it will be 2 raised to power minus x upon minus ln2 minus half x from 0 to 1. So it will be equal to 4 times 2 raised to power minus 1 upon minus ln2 minus half, and for x equal to 0 it will be 2 raised to power minus 0, which is 1 upon minus ln2, and here it will be equal to 0. So this will be equal to 4 times 1 by 2 ln2 minus half. We have to find out 1 minus ln2 is there, so we will put it as 1 upon 2 ln2 minus 1 by 2. So it can be simplified and can be written as, we will try to represent it as 2 by ln2. Here it is 1 minus ln2. So 2 by ln2, 1 minus ln2, that is what is required. So m, p and q both are equal to 2. So 2 plus 2 raised to power 2, and this will be the correct answer, 16 for this question. Moving on to the next question, that is again from definite integration. Fx is equal to 0 to 1 x minus t mod into t dt if x belongs to minus 2 to 2, and for x greater than 2 it is x square minus 2 by 3, and we have to integrate this function from minus 1 to 4. So what we can see, first of all we have to try and break this first portion of fx, that is minus 2 to 2 and 0 to 1 mod of x minus t dt. If your x is less than 0, what will happen? If your x is less than 0, in that case t is already moving from 0 to 1 and x is also negative. That means this x minus t quantity is going to be negative only. So mod of x minus t will be equal to t minus x. Into t is there. So we have to integrate 0 to 1 t into t minus x. So it is t square minus xt dt. So this will be equal to t cube by 3 minus x into t dt's integration is t square by 2 from 0 to 1. If we put 1, what we will get? will get 1 by 3 minus x by 2. If we are going from x greater than 1, suppose if we consider x greater than 1, what will be the situation? In that case, as t is moving from 0 to 1, that x minus t, x is something greater than 1 and t is moving from 0 to 1, in that case obviously x minus t is going to be positive quantity. That means mod of x minus t will be equal to x minus t itself. So it will be integration from 0 to 1, and this time it will be xt minus t square. So xt minus t square dt. So this will be equal to x into t square by 2 minus t cube by 3 from 0 to 1. In this case it will be equal to x by 2 minus 1 by 3. So in this case it is equal to x by 2 minus 1 by 3 for x greater than 1. Now when you are in between 0 to 1, then what should be the function? Now that x minus t, as x is also varying from 0 to 1 and t is also varying from 0 to 1, that x minus t will attain 0 at some point. T is actually varying from 0 to x, x minus t. From x we are actually subtracting a quantity which is in between 0 to x, then x minus t will be a positive quantity. So in this case x minus t dt plus from x to 1, what we have to put? T minus x will be positive, into t will be there, so t minus x into t dt. So what will be the expression? It is x t square by 2 minus t cube by 3, xt, its integration is x t square by 2, t square's integration is t cube by 3, and here it is from 0 to x, plus in this case it is t square, so t cube by 3 minus xt square by 2, and it is integrating from x to 1. So what will be the expression for this? X into, this is x square by 2, which is x cube by 2 minus x cube by 3, so this is x cube by 6, plus when we put 1 over here, then it will be 1 by 3 minus x by 2, and when we put x over there, then it will be x cube by 3 minus x cube by 2. So x cube by 6 plus 1 by 3 minus x by 2, and here it is minus x cube by 6, so it is plus x cube by 6. So the expression is x cube by 3 minus x by 2 plus 1 by 3 for fx in between 0 to 1. So now all the functions for fx are known. Fx is having its value as 1 by 3 minus x by 2 when x is less than 0. So we have to integrate minus 1 to 4, that means from minus 1 to 0 you have to integrate 1 by 3 minus x by 2 dx, that is a very simple one. And then from 0 to 1, in fact from 0 to 1, what is the expression? X cube by 3 minus x by 2 plus 1 by 3. From 0 to 1, this is your expression, x cube by 3 minus x by 2 minus x by 2 plus 1 by 3. From 1 to 2, what you have to integrate? From 1 to 2 you have to integrate this x by 2 minus 1 by 3, and from 2 to 4 you have to integrate x square minus 2 by 3. Now you can integrate everything over there and can easily calculate this expression in simplified form p by q. Now the next question, that is question number 52, which is given as a calculation of limit, that is n ck upon k plus 3 n raised to power k. Summation is applied over this quantity and k is varying from 0 to n. Limit n tending to infinity, that is what we have to calculate. So first of all, what we can observe, that limit n tending to infinity, this limit n tending to infinity, summation k is varying from 0 to n, and n ck upon n raised to power k, and this 1 upon k plus 3 can also be written as 0 to 1 x raised to power k plus 2, right? Because when it will be integrated, it will get into 1 upon k plus 3 itself. Now what is the benefit by converting it in as integration term? Now you can observe that limit n tending to infinity, this n raised to power k term, obviously this integration is applied over dx, so this n, k, everything is playing role of constants only. So k is varying from 0 to n, and it is nck upon n raised to power k x raised to power k plus 2 integration from 0 to 1 dx. So what we will get, x square is there and n raised to power k. So summation, if we consider it inside, what will happen, limit n tending to infinity, nck and x by n, nck x by n whole raised to power k into x square will be present dx, and the summation is from k is equal to 0 to n and 0 to 1. This part can be written as 1 plus x by n raised to power n, and this is x square. So what will be the value? This will be 0 to 1 x square, and limit n tending to infinity 1 plus x by n whole raised to power n, and this value is what? If you have to calculate this limit, what you will have to do? E raised to power limit n tending to infinity, 1 will be subtracted from this base, that is x by n, into n will be there which is in power, so this is e raised to power x. So this limit thing is equal to e raised to power x. So what will be the answer? So this will be 0 to 1 x square e raised to power x dx, that is all what this limit is converted into. Now what will be the calculation for this? Again the shortcut for integration by parts can be used. This will be your first function and this will be your second function, and now you can do like first function as it is into second function's integration minus first function's differentiation. Integration of this term is again e raised to power x, and plus again you have to differentiate this 2x and you will get 2 e raised to power x from 0 to 1. So what will be the correct answer? It will be e minus 2. So L is equal to e minus 2, which is somewhere around you can say 0.71. So 100 L will be equal to 100 e minus 2. So e's value is approximately 2.71, so integer part of 100 L, so that is why the answer is given as 71. For question number 53, this is a question where approximation will be used. This is not a simple question of some sequence and series, but some approximations will be required in order to obtain the correct answer. That is why we are not able to find the exact s, we are actually finding integer part of 2s in this question. So 1 upon root 1 plus root 3 is there, 1 upon root 5 plus root 7 is there, root 9 plus root 11 is there. If we try to rationalize it, what we will be getting? We will get root 3 minus root 1, root 7 minus root 5, root 11 minus root 9. There will be no cancellation that will be starting. So we will try to introduce some terms so that cancellation can occur. So first of all we will try to use another term, that is 1 upon root 3 plus root 5, root 7 plus root 9, and at last it is root 99 plus root 101. Here it was 1 3, here it is 3 5, here it was 5 7, it is here 7 9, and similarly at last it was 97 99, it is now 99 plus 101. So we have actually increased the denominator. As denominators are increased, every term is actually lessened. So we can say that s is greater than this quantity, obviously. And similarly what we can say that s will be less than 1 upon root 1 plus root 3 is there, and we are putting 1 upon root 3 plus root 5 plus 1 upon root 5 plus root 7, and at last 1 upon root 95 plus root 97. Fine. So s is less than this quantity while s is greater than this quantity. Now if we consider this as equation 1, this as equation 2, and this as equation 3, what we will get if we add 1 and 2? So by adding 1 and 2, we will get s plus s, that is 2s is greater than 1 upon root 1 plus root 3, that can be considered as root 3 minus root 1 by 2, root 5 minus root 3 by 2, plus from here I am writing it root 7 minus root 5 by 2, plus from here root 9 minus root 7 by 2, and now you can see that cancellations are starting, that root 3 is getting cancelled, root 5 is getting cancelled, and in this way what you will get, it is greater than under root 101 minus root 1 divided by 2. 2s will be greater than this, so s will be greater than 2.27 approx, right? So this is still, we have used just addition of first and second expression. Now if we try to add first and third one, what we will be getting? Now the 2s will be less than root 3 minus root 1 by 2, root 3 minus root 1 by 2, this was there, and other terms if we are adding, what we will get? From here we will get again a root 3 minus root 1 by 2, from here we will be getting root 3 minus root 1 by 2, so root 3 minus root 1 by 2, and from here we will get again, then what is there? It is root 7 minus root 5 by 2, here it is root 5 minus root 3 by 2. So root 5 minus root 3 by 2, root 7 minus root 5 by 2, and so on. So what you will get? This root 3 root things getting cancelled, root 5 is getting cancelled, and at last what we will be getting? We will get this is root 99, right? So at last root 99 minus root 97 by 2, that root 97 will also get cancelled. So from here you will get root 3 minus 1 plus from here root 99 minus 1, root 99 minus 1 divided by 2. This is what you will getting as 2s less than. So 2s is less than this quantity, so this is root 3 plus root 99 divided by 2 minus 1. So what you can observe, suppose this is 9.8 or 9.9 something and 1.732. So again this s is still somewhere less than 2.42. S was greater than 2.27, but s is less than 2.42, and that is why integer part of s is actually 2. But here we have to focus on integer part of 2s. So 2s is still greater than 4.54, but here 2s is less than 4.84. That means the integer part of 2s will be 4 itself. So correct answer for this question will be 4 itself. Now the last question, that is question number 54, it is if O is origin and points A, B, C, D, E, F and G are given, these points are the vertices of a cube having edges of length unity. X is the point of intersection of CM and GP, Y is point of intersection. Okay, so first of all we should try and develop a cube over here. So what is the situation? Actually O is origin, A is here, B is here, and C is OA, OB and OC. Now D is A plus B, so D is A plus B, it is here, and E is B plus C, E is B plus C, and F is C plus A, F is C plus A, and G is A plus B plus C, this point is G. Fine. So all these points are actually pointed over here. These nominations are done. Now the next part, these points are the vertices of a cube having edges of length unity. X is the point of intersection of CM and GP. What is this M and P? So what is P? P is actually midpoint of CF. P is midpoint of CF, right? Q is what? Q is midpoint of BD. Q is midpoint of BD. M is what? M is midpoint of GF. Okay, and N is midpoint of OB. N is midpoint of OB respectively. Now what we have to join CM and GP. So CM is this and GP is what? GP is this. So for triangle GCF, what we can say, this CM will be one of the medians and GP will also be a median. So what was G? G was A plus B plus C. What was F? It was A plus C, right? This is C obviously, and this is A plus B plus C. This is A plus B plus C. So what we can see, for triangle GCF, this point of intersection that is represented as X is working as a centroid, because this is point of intersection of two medians. So what will be the X? It will be equal to A plus B plus C plus C plus A plus C, that is 2A plus B plus 3C. 2A, A plus A plus C. So C is 3 times and B is only once present there. So 2A plus B plus 3C by 3, this is your X. Similarly for Y, what we can say, this is point of intersection of OQ and DN. So OQ is what? OQ. This is your OQ. And what is DN? DN is actually this point, DN. So if we consider this triangle OBD, for OBD triangle, Y will be point that again centroid. So for triangle OBD, this Y is working as centroid. Again, it is a point of intersection. It is a point of intersection. So O is obviously origin. D is what? D is actually A plus B, right? So D is A plus B, and B is obviously B itself. Origin is of course O, and that is why the centroid will be A plus 2B by 3. So this is Y, A plus 2B by 3, and X was already there. X was equal to 2A plus B plus 3C by 3. So this was 2A plus B plus 3C by 3. So what you have to find out now? The length of xy, that is what we have to find out. So first of all, we should try to find out this vector xy. So what will be that xy? It will be A by 3 minus B plus 3C. 2A minus A is A, B minus 2B is minus B, and 3C divided by 3. So A minus B plus 3C by 3, we have to calculate its magnitude. Mod of xy whole square in fact will be equal to 1 by 9 A minus B plus 3C whole square, that is dot product. So it will be equal to, as you can see, so A dot B, B dot C, everything is going to be 0 only. So what will be the value? It will be A dot A, which is 1, B dot B, and 9C square, which is 9. So 9 plus 2, 11 by 9. So mod of xy square is equal to 11 by 9. We have to find out in fact that is 81 L square. So we can see that L square is 11 by 9. So 81 L square, that will be equal to 81 into 11 by 9, that is equal to 99. So the correct answer for this case will be equal to 99. See you all later. Thank you.